Niners have had Christian McCaffrey for more than a month, and frankly, he's been a big upgrade for this offense. The passing game in particular. When it comes to running the ball, he's fine, but his backup Jordan Mason seems to be having more success. He's built for the beating. There's no reason to give Christian McCaffrey all that punishment between the tackles when he's so effective in space. Don't you think that Jordan Mason should be getting the bulk of the carries?
Yeah, I think you just hate on him because his nickname's CMC. But no, it's yeah, he has to get the bulk of the carries. I was screaming at the TV like, Kyle, can we get Jordan Mason a little bit more carries because he's running the ball so well. I don't understand why Kyle, when he sees certain players like excelling, it's like, why don't you circle back to them more often? Like, to me, like it's like going back to the Trey Lance thing. It's like why are you running him to the ground when you didn't even let him throw early? It's like either you have it or you don't. Jimmy Garoppolo, if he's able to hit the deep throws, why don't you go back to that more? Jordan Mason, he was averaging 8 to 12 point yards per carry the whole time, and every carry went for like at least like 4 yards, unless like the offensive line couldn't block people. So I think he needs to get more. He looks more efficient. I think it should go like this. He needs to be the 12 to 18 carry guy, while McCaffrey's the 8 to 12 carry guy. Not only, and it's going to be beneficial because not only does he look like the better runner, more efficient runner, it's going to take off more of the load, more of the hits that McCaffrey got. Because look, after like 4 games, he was already having knee irritation, whatever the hell irritation is like
right.
Knee, whatever that means. And it's clear he looked better as a receiver. Look, you're officially like you were right about like Mitchell's probably the better runner than McCaffrey, which is like, all right, you know what, he is, and whatever it could be, whether it's because defenses are collapsing those running lanes more when McCaffrey's in there or not, whatever it is, it's clear they're better with Mason. And McCaffrey makes his heavier impact, more influential impact when he's running routes, whether it's out of the backfield or lined up. So start giving Mason more of those carries because he can absorb those hits. He has that beautiful vision that fits that zone scheme so perfectly. I mean, that second run he broke off for like 15 yards or whatever. You could see the way he swung it, found that very little crease, cut and go. And that's exactly what Kyle wants. Don't let his bulkiness deceive you. He's elusive and has some speed. So I think it's perfect. Start giving him more carries, especially in the middle of the game and some of the crunch time, and watch good things happen.
Yeah, I mean, last week, Christian McCaffrey got 25 touches. That's too much. 17 carries and 8 catches. I like the 8 catches, 10 targets. Absolutely, man. I mean, he had 10 targets, 8 catches, 80 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, Debo hasn't been that efficient all year, but 17 carries for 66 yards, and one of them went for 30. So that means like 16 went for 36 yards or something.
He was averaging 2.6 to 2.9 per carry until that point.
So you're just slamming him into the line so we can get tackled by 4 or 5 people. Like, stop.
It's going nowhere.
Give him 10 targets a game, but then like sprinkle in 8 carries, and that's fine. And give the rest to Jordan Mason, who's built to run into, loaded boxes. It just seems like so obvious. And the only reason you would do it any differently is if you felt insecure about trading too much for Christian McCaffrey. He's like, oh man, I got to justify this trade by giving him 25 touches and all the goal line.
That's what it feels like.
Nah, man, don't do that. Because what you're going to do, you're not going to justify the trade. You're just going to hurt his numbers and get him hurt. Yeah, man. I'm just saying.
And I think it's better with Mason because I think the play action game will work more because I think the thing about Mason, was this a thing in training camp? He was piss poor and pass pro kind of?
I never saw that. I just feel like the Niners.
I was like, wait, how would you even know in training camp? I don't think that they do it too much like that.
When asked about Mason, the coaches always say, he looks good in practice, but we just don't know if the moment will be too big and if he'll hold on to the football. And then when he finally played well, they were like, he was great. He held on to the football. So I don't know, maybe in practice, because there's a lot of practices after practice after training camp, we're not there. Maybe he fumbles in practice because they always say that. Hey, he held on to the football. I've never seen him fumble, but
yeah, you're not making an emphasis on that. It wasn't a problem.
They keep saying it, so it's got to be that. And again, there's all these practices that the media's not in front of. So it's possible he fumbles every freaking day in practice and not in games. But so far, he looks like a guy who holds onto the ball pretty freaking tight. Like Jeff Wilson Jr. was all over the place with the ball, still is, frankly. And I don't know, Jordan Mason looks like he holds it high and tight. But we'll see.
Yeah, look, keep giving McCaffrey obviously the start. Give him the early touches, like the first 4, and then from there on out, give him like one every like 5 after that. Give it to Mason, and then when it's like crunch time in the game, that's when I was like, okay, I understand why you're going to go to your high-priced running back. That if you want to ice it with him, sure, that's fine. That's cool. I get it. But when it's like after those first 5 carries, it needs to be a heavy dose of Jordan Mason at that point. It just it works. And now all of a sudden the trade for Jake Wilson looks perfect sense. It's like, all right, I see why you guys traded him away. You got this guy with Mason. It's looking beautiful. Now it's not looking beautiful. It's looking optimal with your offense. So let's give him more carries because you're going to need to find that best form of attack with the running game where Brock Purdy in because everything needs to be perfect. And I think when your perfect offense is when you're giving more to Mason and McCaffrey's over there just running routes.
Yeah, Mason is averaging 5.4 yards per carry. McCaffrey with the Niners is averaging 4.1. No brainer. You go with the guy who's averaging 5.4 yards per carry. Give him the carries, and that only preserves McCaffrey for the playoffs, which is the point. And I think he'll probably be more effective on 7-8 carries than 17.